You're listening to FAMcast, the For All Manakind podcast, with your hosts, the competitive spirit, Trey Simpson, our own devil's advocate, Tim Weber, and the hopelessly optimistic Trevor Jorgensen. This is FAMcast.
What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to FAMcast. This is episode 63, and it has been an exhausting weekend. We've had, well, I guess for me, I don't know about you guys.
It's been a long week.
Me and KB just got back from PAX. We were there. We got to Seattle on Wednesday. We caught a red eye Saturday night, so we got to the airport at like 11 p.m. Flew out. So like just a late flight.
Okay.
Like early,
I've never heard that.
Late night, early morning. So if you think about this, we flew out around midnight West Coast. So we fly back East Coast, so we're losing 3 hours. So it's even like we're losing more sleep. So we had a layover in Minneapolis, 3 hour layover. So we barely get any sleep on the plane, lose 2 hours at that point, and then have to take another flight to Columbus, which is too short for us to even fall asleep on. So we finally get back at 11 a.m. So from 12 a.m. to 11 a.m., we are on this plane, losing those 3 hours. And then we go straight to a wedding as soon as we get back.
Oof.
And then we hang out with our friends after the wedding. And then today we went with our family to the lake. So I'm pretty much exhausted. So I'm very thankful that it's a short work week, only 4 days. But we did get, for some. Sorry, Tim. But there was some good news, especially for you two, out of this weekend. The Resident Evil tease.
Oh yeah.
And I think that's kind of what we want to focus on this podcast. So we're going to kind of discuss what we expect from this Resident Evil tease. Cause that's only like a week away at this point now.
From the announcement, right?
From the announcement. And I think we're going to see a lot more announced at Tokyo Game Show. Cause I think that's the week after, or maybe even just a couple days after. And I don't think anyone really expected this. And correct me if I'm wrong, but this kind of came out of nowhere.
Yes.
Yeah. So to maybe just cut to the chase, if you guys haven't heard of it yet, Capcom put out a tease just saying that, hey, you're going to hear more about the this next entry in the Resident Evil franchise in the next coming days. This was before. I think before they put out everything up on YouTube, because companies put up things on YouTube and then they keep it private, so they can just basically make it public once they make the announcement.
Yeah.
Someone did find some screen captures, which right. I know I shared with you guys, and if you guys haven't seen it, you can find it in our Discord. But it doesn't look like a standard Resident Evil game, which I know you're pretty happy with that, Tim.
I'm okay with it. Like, I'm not like don't get me wrong, I want a Resident Evil 8 or 3 remake, but I'm excited for new ideas too.
3 remake will be that's when I'll be kicking and screaming. I know 2 is yours, but 3 remake will be mine for sure.
That would be cool to get a double announcement at TGS, right? To have this new the project name is Project Resistance. That's what I was trying to pull up here. So Project Resistance is the code name, and it's going to be announced on September 10th. So we're going to get a lot more information then. They have the teaser website up, and then they have these thumbnails that people grabbed from the YouTube video that hasn't been made public. That, I don't know, people work their internet magic and find these things, right?
Right.
So
all the time.
Right. So it's correct me if I'm wrong, but these characters that they showed in the thumbnails aren't regular Resident Evil characters, right? They're just they're new people.
Not that I recognize, but I also didn't recognize Chris from Resident Evil 7 right away. Like I did, but I didn't because it's a different looking thing. So I mean, I would assume it's a new cast.
Right. That kind of ties into what people are expecting this to be, right? So I'll let you guys take over because Tim, you're our Resident Evil master. So what do you expect from the little that we know? All we have is Project Resistance, and we have these screenshots of these 4 random characters. What do you expect of this game to bring us?
So I've heard a couple different things. I've heard it's going to have co-op features. I've also heard it's going to have multiplayer features. Right now, you can consider multiplayer and co-op the same thing. So I guess it doesn't necessarily have to mean that it's going to be a versus. I personally, so look, if you've paid attention to our podcast, if you've been around, I don't know how many times me and Trey have talked about a Resident Evil Battle Royale element game, and I know everyone's going to hear that and be like, "Oh my god, get over Battle Royale already."
Let it die.
No.
Like Operation Raccoon City was not a good game overall. Correct. I
Absolutely.
enjoyed certain things about it, and I think if certain things about Operation Raccoon City were handled differently and maybe with a better team behind it, it could have been a lot better than what it was. The campaign was terrible. The multiplayer of that game, though, had some very cool elements to it. It was team-based multiplayer, usually objective-based, and while you're in there, you had to go against zombies, too. There were lickers randomly about. Sometimes a tyrant would jump in. And that's some crazy stuff that it turned, that's that PvPvE element that I personally find more enjoyable than just a standard battle royale game. Is when you have other things you have to. That's Hunt Showdown has that element to it.
I was about to say, yeah.
And it's phenomenal. It gives you, because people aren't the only thing you need to be worried about.
Fallout 76.
Fallout 76, another good one. You have to really position yourself to where not only do you need to make sure you can pay attention to other people, but do I really want to have to go fight over here to this thing? Because then people over here might. There's a lot of moving parts when you add that whole aspect into it, right?
Yeah.
So I think what I want would be that a co-op, and it doesn't have to be like 100 people, right? Maybe you have, maybe you're all in Raccoon City and it's 5 squads of people, and the whole point is to just try to escape, like we and Trey have said in the past. Like, the nuke's coming, you're aware of it.
Yep.
And on that element, some people have said maybe this is how they tie into Resident Evil 3 Remake, is it's during that aspect of it, and, you're just survivors in the city that need to get out.
Sure.
I mean, Outbreak, Trey, we talked about Outbreak a little bit, right?
Yep. That's the rumor. That's the other rumor that I've been hearing. This is maybe successor to Outbreak, because Outbreak was way before its time.
It was
totally before its time.
100%. Yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. I was just gonna say I've seen people. How people get crazy with their theories, right? I've seen people dive so far into it that the teaser website has scan lines. Like, how you see on like monitors and stuff.
Yeah.
And that's like the same as the title screen for Outbreak. So they were like, oh, it's confirmed. We've got like some sort of Outbreak confirmation here that it's going to either be a remake, sequel, tie-in, whatever it is. A lot of people are thinking it's going to be similar to Outbreak.
Because Outbreak did well enough to have a sequel. Well, let's start there. There was a sequel to Outbreak. And the whole premise of it was, you couldn't pause the game. There wasn't a pause button. So if you had to heal and stuff, it was one of the first Resident Evil games to really feature that whole, you got to really pay attention to what you're doing because they're still coming. Yeah, you need to heal yourself, but they're still coming. There were online aspects to the game, but because it was back in the PS2 era where online for that it wasn't there. Let's be honest, it was, but it wasn't. It was doomed to fail strictly because of that.
For sure.
Jump to today's generation where everything's online and it's fantastic. Outbreak, if they would just re-release Outbreak, it would probably fly off the shelves. It really would.
Oh, definitely. Absolutely.
It was like a mini MMO Resident Evil game almost. It was just well done.
So do you think that there's a chance that, because I know that everything's kind of pointing towards a co-op or a multiplayer at this point. Do you think that there's a chance that this is Resident Evil 8, or do you think it's going to be a spinoff?
I think it's spinoff. Yeah.
Spinoff.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people I was just kind of doing some research before we started here, and I know a lot of people are hopeful for an 8. But kind of the way that it's trending and the success of Resident Evil 2, I could see the spinoff and then probably Resident Evil 3. and then we might dive into Resident Evil 8 after that. But it kind of seems separate from everything else so far.
I think the opposite.
Okay.
I think we'll get this spin-off or sequel to Outbreak, whatever this is going to be, and then we'll see excuse me, we'll see 8 first and then 3.
I agree with that.
I'd be okay
That's
with
how
that.
I would see it.
Because the way that the way that 7 left off, like I want to know what happens next.
You're right. So I think we're at that point now to where it's like, okay, we've got 2 that just came out. Let's go back. Let's forward the story from 7, and then let's bring it back to 3. And then depending on how this cooperative game goes, I think 3 may have its own mode. Three make will have its own mode that'll kind of tie in with this Project Resistance thing. Or even cool. 8 could have a potential mode of its own that's based off of Project Resistance.
Another aspect I've seen is kind of like a Dead by Daylight style of play, to where it's like 4v1, to where it might be 4 survivors and 1 nemesis type character.
Or tyrant or whatever. Yeah. That would be neat. I don't think that would be nearly as fun as the other things. Like, I'd play it. I mean, look, give me a game. If you give me a Resident Evil game that goes competitive, please let that happen. Yeah. Like, you might not see me on anything else if there's an actual like MLG Resident Evil player. Like, I'm coming at you.
What was that game? What was that Resident Evil game that had that multiplayer where it had like zombies and stuff in the map?
Or not Raccoon City?
Was that what
Operation Raccoon City? Like, where it was team-based multiplayer?
I think so. Maybe I just never played the multiplayer for that one.
But it was not very good. I mean, the multiplayer aspect was fun. It was fun. It died really quickly because it just wasn't fluid. But that's what it was. It was a team-based multiplayer, team v team with zombies.
I think it's what it might have been. Might be what I'm thinking of. Yeah.
No, I'm kind of with you, Tim. I don't think I would prefer to see like a 4v1 or 3v1, whatever it end up being. But if they do go that route, I think they've got a lot to pull from. Like if it does kind of mimic Dead by Daylight, having different killers, if you will, I think they could have a nice lineup. And you guys would know better than I would, but having
plenty of villains, plenty.
Yeah, like that would be pretty. They wouldn't have any shortage by any means.
No,
so.
But I just don't feel like that would go over as well. I think people would play it. I would clearly play it, but I think if you just give me and Trey what we want, that's what people want to play.
Let us make your game, Capcom.
Right. Hire us. We're here for you.
What do you think?
You guys have the knowledge. We have our wants. Just we'll collab. We'll make the perfect Resident Evil game for you.
Contract us out. We've got the ideas here. Just contract us out. Yeah. Slide in our DMs. We're here.
We got you, boo.
We love this franchise, Capcom. We want to help.
Let me do this. Give me this.
What do you think Project Resistance needs to be successful? Like what do they need to include, or what does it need to just be a successful game?
Like if this is based off of Outbreak, no pause button.
Yeah,
absolutely. Sure. Has to be an ongoing game with that sense of danger at all times.
It needs to be difficult.
Yeah, like difficulty for sure.
It needs to be difficult. Like the Resident Evil games aren't like Resident Evil 2. It got challenging. Like it's not an easy game, but this needs to be harder. Like if it's going to go that Outbreak world, like I'm not saying make it Dark Souls hard though. I'm not saying don't make it Dark Souls hard either.
I think,
yeah.
Yeah, they should absolutely make it harder. I mean, especially at least from the screenshots that we've seen, we're just people. We're not soldiers. We're not policemen.
Right.
We're just
so here's something about Resident Evil games as the series has progressed. Ever since they added co-op, 5, 6, whatever, it's not scary anymore. So if you're trying to have a survival horror game and it needs to keep its horror factor in it, you need to be able to die very easily. Like that's just, I mean, that's what you need to be able to do. You have to, because if I'm running around with my buddy and we could just smoke everything, there's not going to be scary moments. But in Dead by Daylight, it's still easy to die. You know what I mean? Because you're so weak. You have friends all you want, but it's still easy to die. So you need to be if I see something, even one enemy needs to be a threat. Doesn't matter what that enemy is, it still needs to be a worthy threat.
Absolutely.
So for a Resident Evil game, if we're going that multiplayer aspect of it, having, like we said, like where it's teams, but there's enemies in the world, which is what they would do. I can't imagine them making a BR where that's not a thing, right? Like that would be a thing. But if it's going to be let's say it's a co-op experience. Let's say that's all it is. It's an Outbreak type style co-op experience. That's great. But you need to make it to where, like, if there's an enemy in front of us, we need to be short on ammo, or not short, but ammo needs to be scarce. Like, you need to have these elements to the game that don't make it to where I have plentiful stuff to where that's not a threat anymore.
Yeah.
Like, Resident Evil growing up has made me a hoarder. 100% a hoarder. I don't like to do or spend anything or use anything unless I have to because of that. And in a lot of games now, because of that, I usually have a ton of stuff by in-game because I don't like to use it because you never know.
Yeah.
So I want that feeling again. I want to have that feeling where I don't want, should I use this bullet? Will I need this later on?
Yeah.
How good are my dodging skills?
Needs. Yes. They need replayability too.
Yeah.
It's a big thing. Give me a reason to keep playing. And it could be something simple. Skins. Look, you can add skins to the game as just cosmetics that, look, you got to play and do this many things to get the skin and make it badass. And I promise you, people will grind for it. Like, stupid things like that. Replayability. It baffles my mind sometimes when we get games that they drop and they're really fun, but the replayability because there's nothing to aim for.
Yeah. Give us, I think some sort of customization would be good.
Customization. Perfect.
Like you're saying, like skins would be really cool. Almost how PUBG does it, to where you get like shirts or hats, goggles, masks, whatever, like stuff like that. Like make it to where I can make my character look goofy in the middle of this, zombie apocalypse, or make it to where I can make my character the way I want it to be. Not like I'm stuck.
People want to make
character.
their own person. People want to be who they want to be in the game, and a good way to do that, cosmetics. And if we want to go even one step further, give it that RPG element. Maybe Trey likes to play a support person in this game, and there's a support class that you have to fucking grind for. Like, not an easy ass thing. I'm talking grind. Like, Trey starts off with one first aid kit, but if he gets to level 25, hey, now he has 2 first aid kits, and because he's support, when he heals himself, he also heals people within a 5-meter radius of him. Like, Capcom, I'm here. I'm literally right here. We can do this.
Right. I think, definitely I like the RPG aspect of it. That'd be kind of cool.
It's replay. That's what it adds.
It's the replay value for sure.
Sounds like you guys just want a Resident Evil Battle Pass. I mean, just go the Fortnite route, right?
I'm not.
No,
not saying that.
Give it an online store, dude. I don't want loot boxes, but be like, hey, I see that cool jacket. I could either earn this through in-game currency, or I can just try to buy it. It doesn't affect the game.
Would be good.
Free to play would be nice.
Free to play would be very nice.
I think a buy-in to buy the base game is fine.
Founders Edition?
Yeah. Free to play option with a Founders Edition. Tim can have his names in the credits for $1,000.
Be honest with me, Tim. If that was the case, if you could spend $1,000 to be a founder of this game and just have your name in the credits, so you just get a copy of the game, your name in the credits, would you do that?
For a Resident Evil title, 100%. Not even questionable. If I could have my name...
the RE Master, come on.
If I could have my name just stamped into a Resident Evil title...
I admire that, man. I admire that. That's impressive. I don't think I could even do that for Death Stranding. As much as I love Kojima and what he does, I just couldn't justify it.
He listens to our podcast, dude. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Hey, I bought an umbrella, a Death Stranding umbrella this weekend, and I had to bring that through TSA, and that was not easy.
But it was worth it. I don't know, man. I want this game. I don't. So Resident Evil fans, they're very. Some of them are very hardcore. Like, no, I strictly want survival horror, and I don't want this multiplayer bullshit. And look, I get those people. I get it. And if people go into this, I don't think it's going to be our standard Resident Evil type. Like, I don't believe that's what we're going to get. I'd love, honestly, to have a game to go back to some tank controls. Like, it would be really fun to have a tank control Resident Evil again. Like, I'm not joking.
Fix camera angles and stuff.
Dude.
There's actually a person online for the PC version of RE2. They're actually making like the static angles.
Yeah, like
static
that would be
camera like
glorious
mod.
to me. I don't think we'll ever go back to that time.
Yeah,
it'd be fun. But you got to. If you're not going to play it because you don't like it, don't dog it until you play it at least. Right. You know what I mean? I get that it's not going to be the standard thing, but give it a chance. Let the franchise still grow.
Right.
Resident Evil is so much bigger than what it used to be. Like, it's so much more, and there's so much potential behind the franchise because it was the original, it was the OG survival horror game, and the fact that it's still huge today as much as it was back then, like. Let it branch out. They tried Resident Evil 5 and 6. Didn't go so well. They went back to the drawing board with 7. How'd that go? It's fucking phenomenal. So give it a chance.
Yeah. I feel like it's one of those things to where people are either going to say, oh, they're always doing the same thing. They're never trying anything new. And then there's people that are like, why are you deviating from
Call of Duty?
What's your
Call of Duty? Call of Duty. Yeah. Sorry. I got a cough.
It's not Resident Evil, guys. This isn't the game I grew up with. But like, I don't know. I'm excited for it because I want it to be something different. I want it to be a multiplayer game. Yes, I 100% want it to be a versus multiplayer game of some sort. I do. I want it. I want that competitiveness in a Resident Evil game.
I think
not something I was expecting to get, but here we are.
Yeah.
I think with it being like just like a multiplayer Resident Evil experience, not necessarily competitive, I would be okay with. But if it's competitive, I would want it to be more of a sense of like the Dead by Daylight or the BR aspect or our example of the BR that we made forever ago. But like, I'd be okay if it was just like a story mode of just like a very limited
co-op story.
Limited. Yeah, like a co-op story. Yeah, like an Outbreak.
Me and Trey about to be the dynamic duo in this BR.
Let's do it, man.
MLG pros, man.
You're gonna see us everywhere.
I see it. Turmoil's about to add another game to its roster.
Yeah, here we go.
Here we go.
I'm excited though. Like, I'm excited. I really am.
Yeah, I definitely am. I'm always excited for anything Resident Evil. Like, when they announced Raccoon City, I was like, oh god, like I hope it's good. It looked great, but when the game came out, it was pretty much an upset. Yeah, even like, what was that? What was the light gun shooter? Umbrella Chronicles.
Yeah,
right?
like Umbrella.
That one was
Chronicles.
Actually pretty fun.
It was solid. Like Dark Side Chronicles, like they were little rail shooters, but
they were fun.
It was fun.
Brings you back to your arcade days.
Yeah, exactly.
And it was a really and you got some really good story from those.
Oh yeah,
because they were canon, so you got to play some really good story.
Sure. Mm-hmm. I remember I had the one on the Wii.
On the Wii, yep.
Yeah. And it
got the Zapper, the Wii Zapper.
Yeah, the Zapper. Yep.
It was solid, man.
It was fun for what it was.
Wow, you guys played it for like a minute.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm like, yeah, this really isn't doing it for me.
Like, it's cool for me. I like the Umbrella Chronicles just because it like went through every story up till now. Just gave you like the short and sweet of what happened.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Yeah. It was really cool. I always love arcade shooters like that. Like rail shooters.
It was a Resident Evil arcade shooter.
Yeah.
With the same lore.
Yeah. You can't complain about that.
No.
I mean, the announcement's a week from tomorrow.
I know.
So it's
so much is happening.
It's coming up, man. It's I mean, I think Tokyo Game Show is going to be pretty good this year.
Oh yeah. They already have some announcements that I'm really excited for. So
I know Capcom has some other things that they're going to talk about.
Yeah.
I mean, that'll be at the tail end of or right after Iceborne launches.
Yeah.
So we might, see some.
I think we'll get the first DLC character for Iceborne.
Or they already have so many added. Like it seems like such a full expansion. I'm pumped.
I'm so excited for this expansion. Oh man.
Yeah, we've all. I know we've got a lot to play, but that's one that I would love to get back in with you guys.
Yeah.
Do you think you'll see any other Street Fighter news? Just since we're on Capcom.
I don't know, man.
We already got a bunch leaked from from Evo, so that might be.
Yeah, I mean Evo, the leak for Evo, man, that felt so bad for him, man. That announcement was so sad, but I mean, he said they may have something coming up soon. They think they're working on another like winter update or something like that, so we'll see.
Nice.
We'll see. This could be like the teaser trailer for it, but
I always love Tokyo Game Show, man.
Oh yeah, Tokyo Game Show is like right next to E3 for me, just because like I most of my gaming companies that I love are like Japanese companies, and this is where they announce most of their stuff.
I know we'll get they confirmed that's when we're getting the Kingdom Hearts 3 DLC trailer.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Mm-hmm.
I know Tim's probably super excited for that.
Never been so pissed off in my life.
I don't think you made it through the first world on that.
That stupid gummy ship.
Yeah, I think no matter what happens, I think we're all going to be excited for Project Resistance.
Look, I'm going to tell you right now, if we get what me and Trey wanted, if that winds up being what this is, and I know I'm having high hopes, and I don't think they'd go that route. I don't think they'd give us what we want that much. But if we do, I'm going to lose my shit on Tuesday.
I will too, because I'd be like, listen, Capcom, we've been talking about this for years. I want money from this too.
The very least.
You listen to our podcast, you don't tell us, and then you steal our idea.
You don't even,
At least put us in the credits, damn it.
Right. Just fucking...
One thing I don't think we've
mentioned...
That's
best case scenario for me. Best case scenario for me is we get that game.
Yeah.
Hands down.
I don't think we've even mentioned the fact of the name. So Project Resistance, just in itself. So are these people in some sort of resistance against... I don't know. Are they resisting against Umbrella? Like, are they maybe former Umbrella employees that are set up in some sort of resistance?
The resistance against the whole undead, Trevor. Do you know?
I'm just saying, like, we haven't even talked about the possibilities just from the code name itself.
I don't know. Those code names are always misleading.
Yeah.
What do you mean? the GameCube being codename Dolphin was like that was so straightforward. What are you talking about, man?
A Scorpio is not a scorpion like I thought it was going to be. Like,
I expected a live scorpion embedded into the CPU of my Xbox One X, and there's not one. This is stupid.
Disappointed. So I don't know. I think best case scenario, we get what we want, Trey.
The absolute dream case scenario.
Other great scenario is we get an Outbreak, and I'd be okay with that. And they could do a Battle Royale Outbreak. I mean, that's what they could turn that into that. But I'm okay if it goes down either one of those branches. I'm perfectly fine with it.
Tim, I think me and you just need to have like our own discussion as to how we would make this BR.
We should.
We should make this a podcast.
We have Resident Evil D&D. You know, we already got that down. So we have those. We can just incorporate. We got this. We can just do this. We
just need to work on getting that licensed.
Capcom, do you not see us? Do you not see what we do for you? Like,
you need to write them a letter, Tim, and try and license your D&D campaign.
I should. Oh my god.
Get it kickstarted, man.
Dude, dreams.
Yeah, there you go.
Dreams.
You never know.
Yeah.
I think the whole conversation of a Resident Evil Raccoon City BR would make for a very good discussion in the future.
It would. I concur.
Well, that's kind of, I know that's kind of on the horizon. I mean, only a week away until we know what it is, but kind of wanted to kind of bring it back to what we've been doing more recently. Because I know coming up, September's like a super busy month for all of us. We have Iceborne, Gears 5, Borderlands 3, Link's Awakening.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, at least for me, I don't know if you guys are.
I'm excited. I'll buy Link's Awakening day one for sure.
I'm not gonna pick it up right away.
Yeah, I mean, I've already gushed about how much that game means to me. I'm stoked. Yeah. I'm gonna tear through it for sure. I'm excited to see what
your copy when you're done with it. So I'll play it and just playing your copy when you're done with it.
Well,
What if Trevor's never done with it? What if Trevor can never actually beat it?
Right.
Then I guess I'm never playing that game.
Yeah. I guess back to what I was getting at. We've got a busy September, but what have you guys been getting into to kind of bide your time? Because I don't know if you're like me, but I feel like I can't really sit down with anything because it's not Borderlands 3. Like I'm just so ready for that game. Like I'm just like I don't know. I feel like I can't really get into anything, and maybe it's because I have a lot of other things going on between work and other things that we're kind of working on the side. But I'm pumped for Borderlands. What are you guys playing to kind of wait this out?
So I'm in that same position, right? I think we all get there to where it's like, okay, look, nothing sounds good because I'm 2 weeks away from all these freaking great games. You sit there and you look through all 100 games that you have already installed, that some of which you've never touched, but you're just like, nah, it's not Borderlands 3.
Yep.
One game came to light, and thanks to my buddy Riley at Average Geeks, because the game was unknown, no one knew about it. It just came out of nowhere. It's by Perfect World. It's called Remnant, From the Ashes. If you haven't heard of it, I don't know what to say other than you need to go look at it, because the best way I've described it to people is like Dark Souls meets Destiny almost. Like it's not so much open world like Destiny. It's more like world-esque like Dark Souls and stuff, or Demon Souls, but Dark Souls with guns, essentially. Even the way you go into boss fights is straight up a fog wall that you walk through.
Oh,
like,
wow.
100%. Wow. You get dragon hearts that are basically Estus Flask that refresh, and you have checkpoints like bonfires, right? And you sit there and you think, okay, well, it's just a copycat of Dark Souls with guns. Okay, yes, but Jesus, does it fucking work beautifully. Ever since it came out, I shit you not, I looked between the hours that I've played on my solo campaign run, plus the people I've helped, already over 100 hours in this game.
And when did you start?
Let's see, today's Monday. It was probably last Tuesday.
Wow.
I'm so happy I found this game, because it's a game that I get excited to go home for now, because I don't have Borderlands or Gears of War 5, you know? It's crazy. I don't want to spoil anything for anybody, so I'm not going to talk too much about it, because I don't want to spoil it. Just know that I promise you, if you're a fan of Dark Souls and you've always wondered how a Dark Souls with guns would work, this is it. They have full support constantly happening. They just did a big patch recently that changed a lot of things up, actually. Like, some for the good, some I'm disappointed in because they nerfed something I used greatly, but whatever. So the community's the community. The most helpful people you probably ever find, like their Reddit, everything. They're so helpful. Everything works so awesome. Well. And like, did you guys hear about it before?
No, I didn't know about it until you started streaming.
now that you've brought it, once you started playing, you told me about it, and then that's when I started to like notice things on Twitter. So I very well could have seen it before and just kind of scrolled past it, just not giving it a thought. But now it's like all I see. Between Remnant and Control, like people are saying that these are two of the best games of 2019.
It is in my running for Game of the Year, easily in my running for Game of the Year this year. Okay, like I can't stop playing. I bug my buddy Ben about it all the time, like, because I don't shut up about it. Like, that's all I talk about. I've played it. I've convinced like 7 or 8 people to play it and buy it, and not a single one of them has been disappointed. Like, it's crazy. It is so good.
Maybe we'll have to do the game share, Trevor, and try it out.
Yeah, because like you said, I don't want you to spoil it, but what can you tell us about it besides the fact that it's Destiny and Dark Souls merged?
A couple simple things.
Sure.
Right. When you die, you go back to the checkpoint, just like a bonfire, but you don't lose your stuff. Okay, so you don't. So that'll be good for people. There's a word for that. Like, there's not a whole lot of. There's a word for it. Not brief. There's, you know what I'm talking about. Like, dang it. There's a word for it. Griefing. There's not a lot of griefing in it. So like when you die, you don't have to be like, son of a bitch, I just lost all this stuff, right?
Sure.
It sucks because you have to start all the way back over at a checkpoint, and there have been quite a few times where I notice I'm almost at the end and I die. Because then anytime you rest at a checkpoint, everything respawns.
Yeah.
Just like Dark Souls,
Damn.
right?
Yeah.
I will tell people it starts off a little slow. You pick a gun, you pick a class, essentially, right? And the best part about it is, let's say you don't like the class. Let's say you picked it, you're in it to about 2 hours, and you're like, okay, I'd rather have that shotgun class. You just buy the shotgun. You don't have to restart.
Oh,
so
cool.
you just buy the shotgun. The merchant sell any gear you can have. You can have even their special abilities. You can buy them and swap them in and out as you want. So you can make your character your own.
Okay.
You will find guns. It's randomly generated. So not everybody's world is going to be the same. So me, you, and Trevor, me, Trey, and Trevor could all have 3 different kind of worlds. Now the general areas are the same, but like you won't have necessarily the same boss every time. You won't have same drops. You won't have same loot. Some of the loot is randomized. So there's reasons to what they call in the game re-roll your campaign. Like I probably re-rolled my campaign 6 or 7 times now because in the first area I'm at, I've been searching for a particular item that I know will eventually spawn there. It's random. You don't know if you'll get it or not. Which is another reason why the community is so helpful, because some people will be like, hey, if you guys are looking for this item, the boss for that item's in my world. If you want to come help me get it.
Oh, cool.
Stuff like that. But it's really nice because all the bosses are unique. The weapons start off very basic, but some of them get really fucking crazy. And certain bosses have different ways to kill them. And if you can find out the secret way to kill them, you can get a different item. There's tons of secrets in the game. Like tons of reasons to replay the game. I play with a guy today. I'm at like 202 trait points. It's kind of like what you get when you level up to make your person like you like better, more or less. Play with a person today. I thought I played a lot. Again, 100 hours. This guy had 600 and some trait points. Like, wow. Fucking tons of reasons to play. So random generated worlds, 3-player co-op, and it's not like Dark Souls co-op where you have to summon somebody. You just invite your friends. So it's simple, right?
Yeah.
You can play from the get-go right after you do the tutorial. Different play styles. I know it's all guns, but there are legit like melee builds you can do because there are certain like rings and like amulets that you can get that can help you. If you want to be a melee focused person, you can do it. If you want to be a ranged person, you can do it. If you want to be in their face with SMGs or shotguns, you can. There's all kinds of ways to build your person because you can add mods to your guns that do make it do different things. Like talking about it doesn't even do it justice. Not even close to doing it justice. Some of the boss fights. The last boss fight is simple and complex, and I absolutely love how it works. Like, there's so many different, unique things. I could not shut up about this game. Like, legit, I could go on and on. But that's the big push for it. It's challenging. It's frustrating. You get that same, oh my god, thank the Lord feeling when you finally beat that boss who's kicked your ass several times.
Oh, yeah.
It's rewarding as hell. It's just... It's good. Like $40. It's $20 cheaper, and I would easily pay $60 for this game.
Yeah,
that's good to know.
Do they have any upcoming content, or like have they?
So as I was saying before, they fully support the game. They still add patches to it. They find things that people like, and then they tweak things. They already have a new game mode coming to it called Adventure Mode. It's supposed to. They're like, apparently adventure mode is short bursts of things, but it helps you get stuff a little bit better, more chances, stuff like that. They're adding a lot more gear to the game. They have upcoming ideas for it. So they plan to support this for a while. They talked about they did like an AMA on Reddit about it. And they talked about how they see Remnant as a game that they want to support for a long time. Like they want this game to have a long lifespan, and all the community has been in full support. Everybody who's played it, any reviews I've seen have been nothing but talking about like how they've done so well with the game, and they really, really have. Like
that's awesome.
It's so good. They have so much stuff coming out for it. Like I'm excited for Borderlands 3, but I will keep up with this game. Like nice. I will keep up with this game.
One thing that I've loved from games recently, and I don't know if this is exactly what Remnant has done, but I think of Risk of Rain in Borderlands 3 and how they've already outlined like their next 4 updates, like 3 or 4 updates.
Oh, yeah.
Like they'll just tell you like, hey, here's our schedule for the rest of 2019. And it breaks down, okay, this first free update, we're going to have a new boss, new weapons, we're going to have a new survivor, whatever it is.
Right.
I love when games have that kind of transparency. It shows that, hey, we're still dedicated to this game. We're going to tell you exactly what we have coming. And it gives you a solid timeline. So, like, hey, I've been waiting forever for DLC Pack 1. There's nothing happening in the meantime. But like Borderlands has 2 free updates before the first paid DLC even comes out.
Right, yeah.
So I don't know. I think it's cool that we're starting to see more and more of these timelines for game.
Yeah,
updates.
the roadmaps.
It's important because like you don't want to have the BioShock syndrome that came with BioShock Infinite, because BioShock Infinite was great, but the DLC that they announced for it took so long to come out. A lot of people just didn't care. By the time it came out, I was like, "Oh yeah, I forgot they were even doing this." Right?
I never touched it, to be honest.
Right. So it's good to have, and they were great DLCs. So I'm not taking that away. Like they were good. Yeah. They really, really were. Burial at Sea was phenomenal. But it took.
Maybe I did. Maybe I did play, because I do remember that actually.
But it took so long to come out. So many people just didn't care.
Yeah.
And with devs being like, "Hey, look, this is what we're doing." And for me, like I beat the game and I have almost everything in the game. There are reasons to go get everything, and I have everything almost in the game. And it gives me a reason to keep checking the forums. Like, oh, sweet, they added this stuff to it. Oh, they tweaked this. So now let me see how my character goes. Because, like, it's kind of like Destiny. You guys played Destiny. You know how it's always fun to just okay, I'm going to try this build and see what kind of DPS can I get with this build? Like, how great can it be? They even have freaking support armor. They have armor set bonuses, like, depending on what you're wearing. Dude, like, it's so good.
I miss when WoW had that. Back.
So if y'all want to pick it up and play with me, I could help you guys out a lot. We have a good time. Just gonna...
For sure, it'd be fun.
Yeah,
That's what I've done.
I'm definitely not opposed to it, but we're at this point. Like, if you would have told me this like a month ago, I would have been like, oh yeah, like I've got nothing to play. But now
I didn't know about it a month ago.
Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of scary to think about, like all the games that might just go unnoticed by us that we never even pick up, that are just gems,
Oh yeah.
If I would have missed out on this game, and like say I found it a year ago or a year from today, I would have been so upset with myself. Yeah. It was like the first time I played Dishonored. I'd waited to play Dishonored until I got my freaking Razor's Edge tablet. I don't know if you guys remember that freaking thing.
Dishonored,
so I got that, and I was like, I'm gonna wait until I can play it on my Razor's Edge tab. Would be a great first game to play on that. I was so mad at myself because of how good that game was that I waited that long to play it. Like I was so mad.
I think I have it. I honestly have never even touched it. I don't think.
First one was phenomenal. Wasn't that big of a fan of the second one, but the first one was phenomenal.
Yeah, I didn't get into the second one either, but absolutely loved the first.
I have Dishonored, and I've played 30 minutes.
Nice. What about you, Trey? What are you doing to kind of hold yourself over?
Lots of Overwatch still. 222 has been great for the most part. You do run into those players that are like, oh, I'm just gonna pick this slot because whatever, and like troll or whatever. But
so what about those that? What about those that aren't too familiar with Overwatch? You want to explain?
Okay, so 222 is the roll-lock system to where it's 2 DPS, 2 support, and 2 tanks. So instead of going freeform and picking whatever character you want, now it's like locked to those 3 specific classes that you have to choose from. And now it did away with like a lot of overpowered compositions, but now people are complaining about double shield, and it's like, oh my gosh, people just pick the right stuff. Like, stop. It's so annoying. Like, people always find something to complain about in Overwatch, but it's understandable.
Isn't there a lot of controversy around Sigma right now too?
Yeah, he's a strong character.
Who's Sigma?
He's the newest character they added to Overwatch. He's a tank, the talent tank. He's really strong. His ult, people instead of calling it C9, it's Sigma 9 now because he will literally just lift you off the point if you're all on it, and then it'll, if you're in overtime, it'll go away and you lose the round.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's so cheap.
Yeah, because people are always like crowded around on the point if it's a 2-point or payload. If they're all on it, they're all going to be on it as long as it's in overtime. Sigma just comes in, ults, lifts them up, overtime bar goes away, and that's the round.
Yeah.
But other than that, I've been playing Tekken a lot lately. Beginning the groove of that. Street Fighter here and there. The new characters came out: Lucia, Poison, and E Honda. Lucia being my favorite one out of the 3 that just came out. Poison's also really strong, and Honda in the right hands is it's insane to fight against E Hondas. At least the ones that know what they're doing.
Sure.
But beyond that, I mean Pokemon Masters, been playing that since that came out. It's pretty good. And Gears Pop. I'm actually pretty surprised by how much I actually like Gears Pop. So, I was dogging it when it first came out, but Gears Pop is pretty solid.
I know Tim's been pretty deep in that.
Yeah,
too.
Gears Pop is really, really good. I've been playing it a lot. I kind of got into where I'm winning and losing now. I used to just stomp people.
Oh yeah,
but
same.
now I'm definitely. I'm like, I guess you can consider me like in my. My rank where I should be until I start leveling
gotcha.
up.
Sure.
And, that's kind of like.
Yeah, I like it. The game's fun. It's pretty solid. Pokemon Masters is the same thing. I kind of wish it wasn't locked to Pokemon and Trainer. I wish you could kind of just be like, okay, Misty is only good with, she only has water types. So you can pick the range of water type Pokemon. Or, I don't know, you can choose what character you'd want to be like. So I'd be like, I want to pick Poison, so I can have Nidoking. Or I can go and pick, another Poison type Pokemon or something like that.
Sure.
The whole auto function thing kind of makes me mad too. But other than that, I mean, the game looks gorgeous. I think it has some of the better animations in any Pokemon game.
Yeah, I mean, it is definitely well animated. What don't you like about what makes you upset about the auto feature?
Just because I would much rather be playing the game, if that makes sense. I would rather be the one to be like, okay, Piplup, you hit this.
But you don't have to use the auto
Charmander,
feature,
you do
right?
this.
Yeah,
you don't have to. It's just the fact that it's there. You can just be like, okay, I'm gonna turn the game on, auto, and do whatever else, and then come back and it's done.
So I've played a lot of mobile games, and a lot of mobile games nowadays have that feature. And one of the main reasons they have that feature is if you're busy, like let's say I'm at work and I'm busy, I can just do click and it does the thing right. But I will tell you, it is way more beneficial to play versus doing auto. And a big reason for that is in most of those games, your guys do what they think is best, but it's not always what is best. So I've had matches in that game specifically in Pokemon Masters where I do auto and I'll lose, and I'll play it myself and choose the right targets and win, hands down, not even close.
I had the same thing happen today too.
So it's there because there are some fights, man, you just grind, because this game's going to become a grind if it's not already. Where it's just going to be annoying to keep doing it and doing it. So that auto feature is nice to get through the grind, but to be competitive with it, to actually make sure you're going to win those more difficult battles, you will have to do it versus the auto.
I use the auto for leveling up. I'll just go to the level, the training grounds. I'll pick the people that I want leveled up, and I'll just, put it on auto and, check my emails, do whatever else I'm doing, grind through some levels there, and then go back and play the story.
I guess so. I don't know. I'm not a fan of auto functions.
That's fine.
I mean, it's each their own, for sure.
It's why I hated Final Fantasy, 12? Because it basically had that in the game. Was an auto function, and then I was like, this game sucks. So
yeah, just like Tim said, there were a few matches that I was playing when me and KB were driving home today. I'm like, why are the AI doing this? This is so dumb. They're not paying attention to type matchups or anything. The only thing, and this is just very minor, it's not the true Pokemon weakness charts.
Right.
like a water Pokemon might be weak to grass, but it's not weak to electric.
Right.
Even though that's the way it works in every Pokemon game, it
doesn't have 2 weaknesses.
They only have one weakness, so you have to pay attention to what their weakness is. Which I'm sure makes it a lot easier to balance for a mobile game, since not all the Pokemon are in there, and you can easily balance, make sure you've got typings right, I guess.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with it. Like, it doesn't ruin the game for me, but it definitely threw me off at first. I'm like, why is this not super effective? I know my typing.
Right.
So Pokemon, I don't mind. I don't play Pokemon Masters a whole lot. I kind of fell off of it. It's not that I will never revisit it. I probably will. The one thing, and this, you talk about minor, this is minor. The one thing that bothers me the most that I have a hard time wrapping my head around is I have to have a Pikachu as my character.
Yeah.
I just hate the fact I have to have a Pikachu as my character. Why does my character have to have a Pikachu?
Yeah.
Like,
because Pikachu and Charizard are like the only 2 characters that, I don't know, get featured in
I mean, I get it, but like, it takes, like, I shouldn't have even had it. If that was the case, honestly, if that was the case, they shouldn't have had a character creation. It should have just been Ash with Pikachu, and it would have been like the Marvel game that I play, where I'm Iron Man. But you shouldn't have had your own person, because I'm not me. I'm essentially Ash
for sure. Like, now, for mine, I mean, I think Red is in the game.
Yeah, he is.
Blue's in the game. Red's in the game.
Like, I'm pretty sure, like, all the champions, gym leaders, I'm sure they're all in there. So I don't know. I don't know why we weren't. Well, I'm sure the reason why you got stuck with Pikachu at the beginning was because they definitely have a set story path to where the trainers that you get along the way kind of help. I mean, I'm in chapter 7 now, and even then, like, every leader that you get is basically strong against the next leader that you go against.
Has anyone actually cared about the story? Has anyone moved? I've skipped past the story every single time.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, I just want to make sure, because I don't. I mean,
like, I did for the first couple chapters, because it was like Brock and Misty. I'm like, oh, this is kind of cool. But now I'm just like,
it's just generic cheesy Pokemon. Like,
yeah,
that's what it is.
I have seen some of the, like, people on Twitter have, like, put up some pretty interesting, like, screen grabs and stuff that are just, like, really funny. I don't know. Some of them have been pretty entertaining. I don't know. I guess for myself, I haven't been playing a whole lot. Because as you guys know, I'm kind of preparing for an interview at work. We have some events coming up that I've been trying to plan for, but I did get to play something really cool at PAX West. Thanks to our friend Mikey, over at Obsidian. He introduced me to some of his friends that allowed me to get a demo of Disintegration, which you guys might have seen. Was announced at Gamescom. It's the new Private Division game, and I have to say it was a blast. Like, the trailer looked really cool from what they showed, but getting hands on with it was just outstanding. It for those that haven't seen it or maybe want to know a little bit more, it's the multiplayer portion is 5v5. I was told there's going to be like a solo campaign that you can play as well. But the multiplayer part, 5v5, it's a first-person shooter, so you yourself are controlling a grav cycle. At the time of playing, I believe there were 6 different grav cycles, all with different weapons, different specials. They all have different stats, so some are faster, but they might be really weak. Some are really tanky, but really slow. Typical kind of stat loadouts like that. But then you get into the second element of RTS. So you're flying around your grav cycle, but then you're also controlling a squad of 3 people on the ground that also have their own special abilities. So some of them might have concussion grenades, like a. Are
you flipping back and forth between FP? Like, is it like a?
No, and that's the coolest part. It's all the same thing. So you're not flipping back. So to explain the controls as best as possible, think about it like right hand, left hand. So right hand, because it truly is 50-50 gameplay. Like 50% you have to focus on FPS, 50% you have to control your squad. So on your controller, I played on mouse and keyboard, but I'm pretty sure the way that it works on controller, your right trigger is your fire, so your primary fire for your grav cycle. And your left trigger is what they call a command burst, I believe. to where that's basically where you're telling your troops to go, your squad to go.
So when you're are you always in FPS? Are you always in first person? So
Always.
so you don't like switch to a third person view or not
No.
like a bird's eye view ever. You're always in first person.
No, I mean, you're looking down on your squad, but you're not like you're in first person. Like you're up in the air on this grab cycle.
I need to see it. I'm so confused.
You truly do. You truly need to see it. So you're up in the air on your grab cycle, shooting. You might be shooting down at the other squads, like the other small RTS people.
So I'm like a bird with a gun, essentially.
Yeah, sure. Let's go with that. You're a bird with a gun.
I'm a bird with a gun.
Yep, let's go with that.
Okay.
So say you go in, and it's a capture the flag mode, right?
Okay.
So you're not the one picking up the flag. You're controlling. You're commanding your squad to go pick up the flag and deliver it.
Okay.
So you're telling them where to go. You're telling them how to use their abilities, like who to focus on. So it's very fast paced, and you have to be good at multitasking because you have to focus on making sure that your squad makes it to where they need to alive. So you have to defend them. It's very intense. Because we did the capture the flag mode, and I got caught up a few times just on my FPS portion, and I completely forgot about my squad. And they even explained it to us, like if you only play in basically if you play it as an FTS or an FPS, you're basically fighting with one hand tied behind your back.
Maybe it is an FTS.
Yeah, let's just call it a first time strategy.
First time strategy.
So you can't focus on one. You can't only command your squad, and you can't only shoot from your grab cycle. You have to do both to be successful. Okay. And it definitely shows. Like whenever I forgot about my squad, I got destroyed because they've got some really powerful abilities, and they're really the ones that are going to win you the game if it's something like like a capture point.
Because you're just the bird with a gun. They're your soldiers.
Yeah. I mean, granted, you definitely have more powerful. Like you're the powerhouse. Like you're the one that has because you have most of the crews is what they call them. Most have a primary and a secondary. There was one called what are they called? The freak shows, I think. To where they only have a primary, and it's basically grenades, like remote detonated grenades that you shoot, and then you can detonate. So you can plant a bunch of them, like you can sneak behind another grav cycle and just like plant a bunch of them and then explode them. You can plant them as traps. There's another group that's called the Ronin that's very baseline, to where it's just machine gun and rocket launcher. So they have a bunch of different play styles for everyone. They have one that's very Mad Max like. I think they're called the Warheads. Very tanky, very slow. Actually, I take that back. They might. I don't know. There's a bunch of different loadouts, bunch of different crews to pick from, but it was just a lot of fun. I think it's something different that I haven't seen done before. And just in the one match that I got to play, I'm really excited to see more from him. I think you guys would really like it.
I'm intrigued. Yeah, you have me intrigued.
Yeah, I'll have to try it out because I guess I'm still kind of confused. I'll have to watch some videos on it or something.
It is, and I'm definitely not doing it justice by explaining it, but just think of it as like you're in the air in RTS, and you can go up and down, so you're not just stuck. So you can get closer to the ground if you want to. You can fly back up. So you're kind of controlling how high you go, but you're also telling your squad where to go to. You're like a huge bodyguard for your squad.
Yeah, I don't know. I think from what I saw of the Gamescom trailer, I was like confused about it. I was like, oh gosh, is this going to be like another Destiny? Is this going to be another, Halo? Like, what is this? And then I saw it and I was like, well, what is happening right now? What is going on?
Yeah, I definitely.
I think I just need to look more into it, but
yeah, I encourage both you and anyone listening that maybe doesn't fully grasp it. Definitely check out some gameplay on YouTube. They might have some up there now that PAX is over. Yeah. Definitely see it for yourself because it's. Yeah, if I didn't explain it well enough, definitely watch because it's something that you should definitely look out for. It's going to be something completely different, and I think that's something that we kind of need. We need people to break the mold.
Right.
Change it up.
Yeah. And with that, I know we're kind of at the hour mark. Let's leave it off with a question then. I kind of like that we started doing the questions. So with everything coming out in September, we're at Labor Day right now, so only the 2nd of September. What are you guys looking forward to the most playing in September with all these new releases coming out? What new release in September are you most looking forward to? Whether it's Gears 5, Borderlands, Legend of Zelda, or maybe an indie game that we don't even know about. Let us know in the comments. Let us know on our Discord, wherever you keep in contact with us. We'd love to hear from you because I know we're going to be talking about a lot of these releases this month. It's a big month for us in general, not only because of the releases, but because of September on Twitch. So we're going to be doing a lot of fun events. None that we'll announce yet, but you can look forward to hearing about some of those in the next coming days or weeks. Maybe some giveaways if you guys pay attention to some of our Twitch streams coming up. Might want to tune into those. So a very exciting time because we've got September and then we've got Extra Life next month. So end of the year is always very busy for us, but it's a fun kind of busy.
Right.
Any closing remarks from you guys before we send it off?
No, I got nothing.
No, I'm just Resident Evil Resistance. Be the best you can be.
be the best you can be. And with that, appreciate you guys listening. We'll see you guys next week for episode 64. And until then, take it easy. We'll see you guys next time.
Bye, guys.
See ya.
Thanks for listening to FAMcast. Be sure to subscribe for the latest episodes and follow us on Twitch, Twitter, and our other socials at For All Manakind.